Hello everybody, welcome back to IsleOfSkinny. It is Clyde here. Today is going to be an extremely fun video. So if you haven't been keeping up with the channel lately, that's totally okay. I don't blame you, first of all. But I recently just posted a short series on my YouTube Shorts and my Instagram detailing how I came up with a Fox McCloud cosplay in the span of 4 days right before the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which beyond this point I've actually seen now, and I got to dress up and go see it with some friends, which was a blast, and I will reveal the final cosplay look and some of the pictures we got that day at the end of the video. But when I posted that series, I had a few people actually messaging me and asking about some of the logistics of the cosplay and how I came up with the ideas, as well as, you know, how much did it cost and all of that. I had this fun idea of putting together this articulated, detailed version of assembling this cosplay. There's only so much you can really say with short form content and with YouTube Shorts. I like to keep all my YouTube Shorts under a minute, so I had to condense a lot of stuff that happened and a lot of the struggles I had with the cosplay in order to be able to post in that short form content. However, you know, now that I'm actually deciding to do a long form version of this video, I can actually detail some of the stuff I went through and how I came up with the ideas, as well as maybe some suggestions for next time and things I would not do again. I think this is going to be a really fun video. Please note that some of this video is going to be in a 9:16 format. I can't help it. I'm taking the reference clips from when I filmed them, and I did film them in a 9:16 aspect ratio for the short form content version. So I will do my best to remedy that and still make the video look pretty entertaining. So I do apologize about that. But yeah, I'm going to go into all 4 days it took to put together, and I'm going to be putting together a price. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, so day one of the cosplay was by far the easiest day of the cosplay. This part of the cosplay was relaxing, it was easy, and it was really small, minute details, and I actually worked ahead because of how easy the day was. Day one has almost nothing to talk about, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to be breaking down some of the prices as well as some of the methods I did use. My costs. I already had the glue and the glue gun, so I didn't include that in the pricing, but I found the white fleece jacket for $19.99 on sale on Amazon. I got really lucky. I ordered this off of Amazon the other day. It's just a little athletic fleece. This is going to be our base for our Fox McCloud jacket. And today I'm going to be crocheting some of the minor details on his jacket. For example, he has on the collar, he has 2 circles and a line that go all the way across it. And it's like a bright blue color, like it lights up. So I found the brightest yarn I could find and decided I'm gonna crochet it and then hot glue it to it. So today we're gonna do that. And then I had to travel to Hobby Lobby to find the specific colors of smaller balls of yarn, and I spent $3.99 each on both of these balls. And that includes the teal yarn I used for the collar and the blue yarn I used for Fox's patch. This was a pretty simple day in terms of what I was doing. I just double crocheted this line of the teal yarn. Got this done, took me way too long to do it. I'm not a crochet pro, I'm pretty novice at it. Next up, I need to make 2 circles to put on the end. All right, magic circles are done. And then we are going to hot glue all of this together, and then we are going to hot glue it onto my jacket. If you do crochet, you know how hard it is to do a magic circle, and it took me forever to get right, and I finally figured it out for this cosplay, which thank goodness. But I did magic circles for both the big patch on his arm as well as magic circles on, you know, the collar for the sides. So this was by far the easiest day. I had next to no struggle. I was very confident on this day going into this cosplay. The results kind of show that. It was just a really fun day overall, and you know, it was a great start to the cosplay. Even though it was the easiest day, it was nice to have a good first day to really get me motivated and in the mood to actually build and put together this cosplay. All right, you guys, I officially have the collar done. I did get a little excited and decided to crochet the patch on Fox's arm as well, which will be getting its logo tomorrow. All right, let's talk about day 2. Day 2, like day 1, was also incredibly easy. This was before any of the fabricing, any of the crazy amounts of hot glue I had to use. It was just overall, this was a pretty relaxing day. On this day, I picked up 2 pieces of red foam board from Hobby Lobby, and it was 99 cents each, so I spent about $2. I took a dry erase marker, I traced out the logo. I kind of just did it by eye because I hate like using a ruler for like exact edges and stuff. I'm not that kind of person. And if it's not perfect, it's kind of like a signature in a way for a cosplay for me. So I didn't trace anything, I just did it by eye. I have to say I did mess up a few times on the patch, like the small one. The first 2 times I did it backwards. I messed up the drawing on the first one, I believe, and then the second one I had actually, you know, drew it out correctly, but I had to reverse the image to put it on the patch correctly to hide the dry erase marker from the cuts. I had to cut out a third one. I think that third one was, I don't remember if that was the one I used. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4, but eventually I got there. I put it on the patch, hot glued it, and it stayed really easy. And then I hot glued that patch onto my shoulder. I will say I should have definitely put the patch higher, but that fabric being so bright as well as being so thin, it was kind of hard to tell where you were placing the fabric unless you were wearing it. And that is such a bad idea if you want to hot glue something to yourself while you're wearing it. You will literally burn the absolute hell out of yourself, so I didn't do that. In that regard, I wish I was able to put the patch a little higher, but I was pretty happy with it, and it stayed on really well. The hot glue held very well against this fleece fabric, which I was very, very excited about. I was nervous about that, so that went really well. And the back logo as well, this took me 1 try. It's, for whatever reason, way easier for me to draw big instead of draw small, which probably is for a lot of people now that I think about it. But once I got that drawn out and cut out, I hot glued it onto the back, and I love the placement. I love how big it is, and I just think it turned out really good. It was a really fun experience. It was a lot of fun to, you know, freehand and kind of bring up some old rusty drawing skills. Even if it's not perfect, I thought it was fun, and it was something I hadn't done in quite a while, so it was nice to relive that. All right, everybody, we officially have a patch, and we have a back logo. Day 3 was one of the hardest days. I do think day 4 was easily the hardest day of the entire cosplay, but day 3 had its challenges. I ended up spending $3.99 on navy blue fabric. They had like pre-rolled, pre-cut fabric, and I grabbed 2 of those. I only needed 1 though, so I'm not gonna put the price for the second one on there. And I also needed stuffing. I wanted to have this really cool 3D aspect to this cosplay. My first Fox McCloud cosplay did not have any 3D aspects. The 3D aspects on this one added so much to it, so I really wanted to invest in that. So I found some polyfill stuffing, like a pretty decent sized bag for $3.99 at Hobby Lobby as well. If you couldn't tell, there's a Hobby Lobby close to my house. There's not a lot of craft stores where I live. I live in a small town. I don't know what to tell you. I'm very sorry. I would go somewhere else if I could, but Hobby Lobby has it affordably and cheap. So I'm afraid until there's a new craft store that is more ethical near me, that's where I'm gonna be going. So I do apologize for that. But Hobby Lobby funded most of this, and you know, it was really nice because Hobby Lobby, despite their flaws as a company and their stuff that I do not believe in, was really happy to have cheap fabric and cheap stuff to go there for, and it was decent quality. And I think the cosplay turned out pretty cool. So, you know, shout out to Hobby Lobby, I suppose. If you can support a different craft store though, like a local one near you, go there, trust me. This day was really tough. So I cut out the fabric, and I knew immediately that I messed up. If I were to do this cosplay again, I would buy a much different fabric. This fabric was very thin. It was kind of see-through, but also when you took fabric scissors to it and you cut it, it splintered. It wasn't a straight cut, and there would be loose threads from when you cut it with the fabric scissors, and that was a huge pain in the ass, to the point where it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to stuff the bottom part of the jacket. So I actually had to tape down the pieces like in the video. That way it looked clean. When I hot glued this, it looked really cool before the stuffing, and I was so happy with it. It was clean, the folds worked, like the tape method had actually worked and cleaned up the sides. There was not a lot of loose threads. I kind of cleaned up with the fabric scissors, and then I stuffed it. The stuffing part was, for lack of a better term, a fucking nightmare. The toughest part about this cosplay was stuffing this fabric, because the stuffing not only slipped through the fabric and came out of the fabric because of how thin it was, but also the hot glue itself did not hold with this fabric sometimes. You know, no matter how long I let it sit, it would pop if I put too much fabric or too much stuffing in while I was trying to stuff it in. And because the jacket was so long, I did not think this through, and I hot glued one of the ends, you know, one of the ends where you're supposed to put the stuffing. So I had one end, one little single hole to put all the stuffing in, and it took over an hour to stuff. And the worst part about all of that is by the time I had it stuffed and I put it on, there was too much stuffing. The jacket, I kid you not, just sat straight. Like there was that much stuffing, like it didn't fold over your body unless you zipped it up, and even then, like it caused wrinkle and it just looked really bad. So I had to pull some stuffing out of the bottom, and I eventually pulled enough to the point where it would still fold around me, but it still had that 3D effect. It didn't take too much stuffing to take out, thank goodness, so it didn't take me too long, but still very frustrating and a little inconvenient. But yeah, this day was definitely a challenge, but I'm glad I did this first before I did the breastplates and the back plates, because I knew the draws of this fabric and the polyfill and the method I was using, and that in turn really made this a tough day, but the result turned out pretty cool. And you know, I just love the 3D bottom aspect. Sitting down on it in the movie theater was definitely a trip, but I mean, it was so worth it. It was so worth it. All right, everybody, we have the blue added to the jacket. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but it adds a lot to the cosplay. Day 4 of the cosplay was by far the hardest day of the cosplay. And not because necessarily it was tough, but because I did it a certain way that I really shouldn't have done it. If there's anything that day 4 taught me, is that I really need to learn how to sew. Like I said before, I didn't need that second fabric cut that I got from Hobby Lobby. I just used the rest of it for the, you know, the chest plates and the back plates. I cut out pieces, I traced pieces with paper on the floor. I cut out 2 pieces each of that fabric. Then I hot glued some of it together, not all of it though, and then I put stuffing in it, like in the video. The thing about this is the hot glue was not taking to this fabric. Like I stated before, this fabric was thin and it just was splintering a lot, and it was a huge pain in my ass. I would be lying if I said I did not burn the absolute hell out of myself doing this. It took forever. It took about 3 hours in total, I would say. I didn't record all of it because I was genuinely getting frustrated, because every time you put the stuffing into it, sometimes the hot glue would pop up because of the fabric. The stuffing would spill into different sections that I didn't want the stuffing to be in, and that was just a huge pain in the butt. Arguably, the most annoying part of this was once you had it all stuffed, you still had to clean up the edges because it looked horrible because of that fabric. So I ended up folding the fabric into itself and hot gluing it, and it took quite a few tries, but eventually I got it to stick. If I were to do this again, I would use a thicker, probably maybe not like a fleece fabric, but maybe a softer, like almost furry fabric in a way, because I want it to be thicker and I wanted it to be a little stretchier. That fabric was stretchy, but it was at the expense of its width, and it would splinter if you stretched it too much. So it was nail biting trying to get this right. Despite my novice attempt at coming up with 3D chest plates and back plates, this turned out pretty well. I was pretty happy with the way it looked, and once it got onto the costume, my worries went away. It looked really good, and you really couldn't notice any of the smaller issues it had until you looked like super close, and I genuinely think nobody wanted to get close to me anyway because I was dressed like an animal in a small town going to the fucking Mario movie as a 22-year-old. So I had that part covered. Price estimate wise, I picked up a olive t-shirt, the olive green t-shirt from Walmart. It was $4.99. I got really lucky. I think it was on clearance. I don't remember though, I'm sorry. And then I picked up that red bandana from Hobby Lobby. It was 99 cents, like duh. I'm not going to include the price of the black strap because I got that years ago for the old Fox McCloud cosplay. I just reused it for the new one. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember how much it was, and it's kind of a piece of shit. To tell you the truth, I would just go on Amazon and order a completely new one if you wanted that aspect of the costume. The final day, when I had this costume all said and done, I was actually gonna do shoulder plates. I was thinking about getting some gray fabric and maybe drawing like some X's on it in like a equal matter to kind of give it a pattern, and then, you know, obviously hot gluing it and stuffing it, but I decided against it for the sake of accuracy. There are some versions of Fox McCloud that do have shoulder pads, I believe. The Fox McCloud that I was dressing up as, like the classic version, just doesn't, so I didn't do that. I really like the way it turned out. It was a lot of fun. All right, everybody, this is the fit. I love it. I think it's awesome. I've even got like this. I also have some fingerless gloves that I totally forgot to put on, but I've also got the scarf, the shirt, all of that. I also have some fox ears, but I don't know if I'll wear them to the movie theater yet. I haven't decided, but yeah. Genuinely, that is not bad for a cosplay, at least where I'm from. I know people that spend hundreds of dollars on cosplays, and don't even get me started on furries. They spend thousands of dollars on their suits. I can't afford to do that, and also I'm not gonna spend thousands of dollars on a fucking fursuit for the goddamn Mario movie. This overall was a pretty cheap cosplay. For someone like me who has next to no costume making experience, it was still really fun to put together and I had a great time. If you want to dress up as Fox McCloud for the movie, please do it, seriously. Nintendo has been ignoring STARFOX as a series for years and years and years. And if enough people dress up as Fox McCloud to maybe show their support for the movie, maybe Nintendo's going to wake up for once and be like, oh, maybe we should make a game, or maybe we should make a series, anything like that. STARFOX needs a revival. It is one of Nintendo's best series, and genuinely, it was a huge part of my childhood. You don't have to be a furry to fucking enjoy STARFOX. It's just a great game. It was really cool to see Fox McCloud on the big screen. While we're on the topic of that, I'm gonna do a quick, as a filmmaker, it is my job to do a review. So I'm gonna do a quick review of the Mario movie, the second one. The first Mario movie I was not a big fan of. You know, it was fun and I had a good time, but I mean, it just, story-wise, it was lacking. And I do think the second one is in the same boat. Story-wise, it was lacking. But as someone who grew up with Mario and, you know, STARFOX, this was a really satisfying movie for me. I feel like I was more nostalgic for this movie than the first one, which is crazy. But then again, I mean, it does make sense. I am a huge STARFOX fan. I had a good time with the movie. My friends and I all liked it. There were definitely moments of the movie where it's a kid's movie and logic is kind of lessened just for the sake of like easier digestion of the plot, which is understandable. And obviously there's like illumination moments like every Illumination movie. So, you know, it's not a perfect movie. It's not like an insane screenplay. Animation was great. The voice acting was all great. You know, I keep talking about him, but Glenn Powell was genuinely perfect as Fox McCloud. My favorite part of this movie obviously was going to be Fox. I knew that before I even watched the damn thing because, you know, I love STARFOX, right? But Glenn Powell genuinely does such a good job as Fox. He's cocky, he's like the fly boy, and he's, you know, he's just so confident in himself, but he's not a douchebag. And that's the whole point of Fox McCloud's character, because Fox McCloud knows he's a good pilot and he's cocky and he's a badass, but he's humble. And that's what everyone loves about Fox McCloud. That's what makes him such a great character. It healed a part of my inner child and it just really makes me want a game. So Nintendo, please listen to the fans and give us a STARFOX game, please, and make it good. Don't let it be a tech demo again. You know, if I were to give it a numerical rating, I'd say 5 out of 10. I had a great time with the movie. I had a blast with the movie, but as a movie, it's, you know, obviously it has some issues, but who cares? I mean, seriously, it's made for the fans, and as a movie, it's not perfect, but as an experience, as a fan, it's a great time. So if you love Mario, if you love STARFOX, please go watch the movie. Nintendo's numbers need to show, and Fox McCloud, you know, being popular again is going to get us STARFOX content if we're lucky, and we need STARFOX back more than ever. Before the video ends, I'm going to put on my cosplay in all of its fullness. I did a stripped down version of the cosplay for the movie, and honestly, if I had dressed like an animal to, you know, that local theater, I might have gotten shot. I'm going to put on the cosplay and I'm going to show you guys what I look like in full Fox McCloud. 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, this is the finished cosplay. This is what I would be wearing if I were to go to a Comic-Con, or if we had a costume party themed outfits I never have the chance to wear, because I would do this. I got this flight suit thing from Spirit Halloween quite a few years ago. I forgot how much it was. I don't know if they make it anymore even. I got this at Spirit Halloween as well. I believe there's actually a little gun that I have too. Let me look for it real quick. Well, I found it. And it somehow still makes noise, but I also just fucking broke it because I'm a doof. I usually have a gun and it barely fit in here, but I used to, oh my God, the clip just came off. You can tell I haven't worn that in a while. Oh, as it falls apart in front of everybody, sorry. But yes, the jacket looks really good with the full outfit and the, you know, the leg strap, the fingerless gloves. The back is something I really like. I love the logo. And these little ears are adorable. But yeah, I mean, that's the full Fox McCloud cosplay. If you guys see me dressed up like this again, just know the world is ending. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want to do a Fox McCloud cosplay or have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm available to contact via email, which I'll put right here. And I also have an Instagram account, which you can just message me on if you want help with your Fox McCloud cosplay. But you're probably gonna do a million times better if you are someone else that isn't me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't seen the Mario movie and you love StarFox, go watch it, please. We need new StarFox content and we have to support it. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a pleasure to talk about this in depth with you guys, and I hope you all have a good night. I love you.